Hello, my name is Nick Gross. I'm going to teach you guys how to play Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues. For this one, we're going to need a capo on the first fret here. The most important part of this song is the bass and the rhythm, as with most songs of the genre. So I'm gonna just get you guys into the feeling. Just listen and really get this into your ears. So I added a little bit of variation throughout just to kind of show the different ways you can do it. But ideally, we're just going to be alternating the bass. And then there's a chord strum in between each bass note. So we'll just jump right into it. It's going to be bass note, strum, bass note, strum, bass note, strum, and that's it. I'll show you some variations on that later on. The intro riff is, it's a B chord here, well, in the shape of a B chord. It's pretty much a C chord. It's going to be 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and then 3rd fret on the high E. And the bass line goes so it's going to be A string, 3rd fret 3 times, and then D string twice, so A string again, and then you're going to bring your middle finger down to the 3rd fret of the E string, and then open on the E string. So, and I like to do a bit of vibrato. The acoustic guitar really, brings that specific note to life when you give it a vibrato. So. And while you're doing the melody, you're gonna go, once you hit that D note, you start doing your chord strums. So it's D, D, A string, E string, and I don't strum there. You could if you wanted, you could go. But I like to do that just there, so that's just a little bit of variation that I like to add in there. But once we get past that intro riff, we lead straight into an E major shape. It's F sharp major because of the capo, but it's in E major shape. Let's say you were playing without the capo, you would be playing an E major. So, pretty simple. Just hold the E chord, and then you're going to strum between the low E, or you're going to pluck the bass. Low E, A, low E, A, low E, A, low E. So. And then it's going to be 3rd fret, 5th fret into an A chord shape. I'm just going to say an A chord, it's a B chord, A sharp chord because we have the capo on. So instead of doing the continuing it, we're gonna hit that, and then 3 and 5 on the low E, and then that's A, E, A. So A string, E string, A string, E string, A string, E string, A string, and then 5, 3, open on the low E there again. 5, 3. So we lead back into the E, and it's the same as before, but instead of doing a bass line, instead of the bass kind of walking up or anything, I like to do just, just maybe do the low E. Just kind of add your own flair on it. I'm going to play it in its entirety so you can hear it. It's kind of hard for me to just play a small portion and have it sound right to me. So hear that. And then you're going to go back into this, it's a C chord, but it's in the shape of a B chord. Or I guess, yeah. So it would be a B chord if we didn't have the capo. So when you get to that B chord, you're just gonna go between the A and the D string. The first 2 times, A, D, and then A, E, A, E. And you're gonna take the bass line from the 3rd fret A string to the 3rd fret low E. So, and I just add that. You could just, and it just starts all over there after the B string, after the B chord, little bass line. So the first verse is, I hear the train a-comin', it's going around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when, 'cause I'm stuck in Folsom prison. And then the second verse is gonna be, second verse is, when I was a young boy, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. And then at the end of that verse, we're gonna do our here's the solo. And then it goes into the 3rd verse there. But so when on the 2nd verse, you're gonna do your B chord riff. So So when you go from the B to the E, you're just gonna kind of ride it out and do a little strumming. I kind of just do whatever here. Pretty much all you're doing is just giving it a little cushion for you to lead into the solo. So the solo is on the 9th fret of the B string, so between the 9th and the 10th here. So 9, 10, and then 8 on the E, on the high E, 11. So that's just 8, 11, 8, 11, 8, and then the second time you do it, or the fourth time you do it, you're gonna go 8 on the high E, 10 on the B, 10 on the G. So and then you're gonna grab a kind of interesting chord here. You have open A, and then 3rd fret, 3rd fret, 3rd fret, and then on the high E you have 6th fret. So you're gonna bar all the way down from the D to the B with your pointer finger. And you just make sure everything rings out there. So what we're doing here is just a nice little country strum, kind of. It's just exempting, it's the same as our rhythm, but we're strumming. We're just strumming instead of doing bass notes, and we're adding the and to it. So and we're gonna do that just twice. So I messed up. So twice, and then we're gonna do partial, or like little so the first chord we're gonna do is 7th fret on the G string, and then 6th fret B string, 6th fret high E string. And what I like to do is slide into it. So, and then our next one that we're sliding into is 10 G string, 11 B string, 10 high E. So and then we go into an E, and we're doing that same strumming pattern. And what I like to do is so what you're doing is lifting your hand and then placing it back down as you hit the bass note. You're just gonna lift your hand on the very last beat there. So and then to our B chord here, our B chord shape. So so when we get to our E chord here, 4 times, 2 times, and then into our 2 more measures, but with the changed rhythm there. So. And then we go into the verse. I bet there's rich folks eating in their fancy dining cars. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. But I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. My voice isn't really in range right now here. That didn't sound as good as it normally does. But after that verse, just like the last verse, we're going to do our... and then we'll go into... And the only difference this time, at least this is how I do it, once you get to... You're going to go... So... Well, if they freed me from this prison, if that railroad train was mine, I'd probably move it on a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom prison is where I want to stay. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. So as you can see, the outro is pretty much the same. On that 4th verse, when you hit this B chord shape, just a measure of our E chord shape. And then that intro riff. And after the intro riff, you're just gonna add a little like with the E chord shape, which I know it's an F sharp chord now, but if it was without the capo, it'd be the E chord. So you're gonna do the intro riff, and then you're gonna end it on the E chord, and just kind of. I like to do just this 3 strums like I showed, but you can do something like, just anything, just something to announce that the song is over, really. That's about the whole entire song. I've seen a lot of people play it without the capo, and that sounds fine until you get to the solo. So I'll just give you an example of that. So that's in that key. And it sounds fine. The only thing when you're playing with the capo on your E sharp or your F here, when you have the capo on the F instead of the E, then it sounds better during the solo. The chords sound great either way, but the solo, if you listen to it, it's pretty characteristic as being right here. So that's pretty much the whole song. Really, it's a pretty simple song, not super hard. It's in the key of, well, I'm playing it in the key of F here, since our chords would be, this would be an F since we have the capo here. And then our next chord is an A sharp. Or a B flat, I should say. Since it's in the key of F, we have flats instead of sharps, so it's a B flat chord. And then this one is just a C chord. So if we do that, it's, at least the root is C. Huh. I'm wondering, that sounds like a special kind of chord to me. I'll add in the description what chord that actually is, because if it was a C chord, it would have different notes, obviously. Well, I know that that's kind of counterproductive, my little outro there, but I'm just trying to explain to you guys what's going on musically, so you understand we're in the key of F with the capo. If we were without the capo, we'd be in the key of E, but we're in the key of F, and that is one flat, which is our B flat chord that we were playing. And other than that, that's the entire song. The one last thing I'm going to show you guys that I like to do pretty frequently is, this is a country technique that's used in a lot of stuff. So, instead of just doing one chord strum in between, we can go 1, 2 strums. And we can even, to add a little flair, what I like to do is maybe towards the end of the song, or maybe take it through one time without words, whatever, however you want to do it. This variation would be just on the, whenever you feel like it really, but usually like the last measure of your chord here, or the last beat of your chord, you can do a little. So you could come in and just kind of, it sounds a little quicker, you know, a little more energy. And then it just helps to, you know, release a little tension or help build it, depending on if you're building or unwinding. So I'll just do a little. Something like that. It just kind of adds a little change, you know, like during the solo, any of those chords, you could do a little. You could just change the rhythm up a little bit. Like, I want to say that it's, I can't remember the name for this, but anytime that we could go, there's a lot of different ways we could do that. We could go. You know, just, it's good to play it a lot of different ways, and it's also really good to be able to just play a chord and be able to hit any bass note. You could go like, just, you know, there's a huge number of ways to add variation over this song or any song with a similar, it's written similarly. So I just kind of want to show you guys that's a good way to practice, is just, you know, first started out single, and then you can go into double. And alternate the bass instead of just alternating it. You could go. I know a lot of people probably already know a lot of this stuff, but I want to be thorough and pass the knowledge on instead of just saying, oh, you play this note and then this note and then this note. There's a reason you're playing. So, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I would appreciate it if anyone who's interested, just send me in the comments, you know, a song you want to learn or something that you've been struggling with, and I can make a video explaining it, or, you know, showing you some practice techniques, anything like that. I don't have many views or many followers at all right now, so I don't expect this very soon, but it would be cool if you know, maybe there's one person who watches my videos. I'll make videos specifically for you if you want. I don't care. So my name's Nick Gross. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.